Let me tell you about depravity, which I know is a pretty common theme on this program. We've been talking for years about cutting defense spending, reining in the military industrial complex, closing some bases. Do we really need 50 military bases in Germany, or might the U.S. be safe with 25 American military bases in Germany? Why do we need to constantly build and replace countless weapons and missiles and rockets? Or could we maybe pare that down a little bit? This morning, I was initially thrilled to see that the Senate is finally going to take a serious look at cutting defense spending. How are they going to do it, Lewis? By cutting back on housing benefits for members of the military, potentially cutting their benefits by hundreds of dollars per month. There's this housing benefit, which is meant to help service members cope with the reality that they often move very frequently. This often means that their significant other can't really have a job. They only have for those who are in a marriage or partnership, they only have one income coming in, and spouses are often forced to really not work because they're just not in one place long enough to have any real significant job. But now the Senate version of the NDAA includes this provision that would get rid of an extra stipend for service members. The committee is viewing the housing benefit as a sort of windfall that's exploited by service members. They want to eliminate this stipend, which is actually a really important piece of compensation. If you're a sergeant in the Army, right? If you have 4 years of military experience, or if you came in at a higher rank because of an associate's or bachelor's degree, you would earn $31,000 a year from basic pay, right? 4 years of military experience, or you come in with a bachelor's degree. If you're looking for housing on a $31,000 a year salary, just a few $100s a month, Lewis, can make a really big difference in the affordability of an apartment. This is no small thing. This really affects people who supposedly are supposed to be focused on defending our country, not worried about whether they can make their rent payments.
Yeah, this seems to be where the cuts are happening. That and the care that veterans receive when they come back from tours of duty.
Yeah, support the troops.
Yes, this is what's called supporting the troops, right? Yeah.
As lawmakers are looking at troop compensation, we have hugely expensive and ineffective weapons programs. We have the U.S. spending more on defense than the next 6 countries in the world combined. ProPublica did an analysis which says that wasteful expenditures just related to Afghanistan are $17 billion, which is higher than the GDP of 80 different countries around the world. And a Politico report on the Pentagon's $44 billion defense logistics agency says that $7 billion was spent on flat out unneeded equipment. The Pentagon didn't even want the equipment, and we still spent money on it.
Yep. We've covered multiple stories of billion-dollar mess-ups, billion-dollar different situations where that money was just completely wasted.
Yeah.
And it's happening all the time. And just imagine how many things are in the works right now. The billions just keep adding up.
There are so many places where we can cut military spending that doesn't cut benefits or pay for our troops. And it's actually wasteful spending. ProPublica, Politico, so many studies have looked into this and identified billions and billions of dollars that could be cut. But yet again, we're looking at hurting the troops. And when it comes to healthcare after they come back from combat, we've talked about that. It's great if you put one of those yellow ribbons on your car for supporting the troops. But if you're supporting elected officials who are looking to do this, that's not really supportive of the troops. And sadly, there are a lot of people, a lot of elected officials, Lewis, who look in this direction rather than maybe we need only a few bases around the world in some of these countries instead of 50 like we have in Germany. More at this point, it's probably more than 50.
Yeah, and I don't know why even Democratic presidents, many Democratic congressmen refuse to even talk about it as well. I mean,
well, some of them do.
It's not enough. They
More members of the House than the Senate, though. You're right about that.
I mean, is just the military-industrial complex too powerful? Are their lobbying efforts too great?
They fund people on both sides of the aisle. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe
yeah,
that's
but
the
Lewis,
easy answer.
we hear from them. None of their decisions are influenced by all the money they get from companies. You know that.
Just about every decision made in Congress is influenced by money.